These are a few thoughts that I have on the UFO hitchhiker effect. The war on reality. Earth's civilization in 2025 is at a turning point, split between irreconcilable competing narratives on many levels: political, cultural, moral, scientific, like what's happening in Ukraine. Ukraine has totally lost. The Russians have totally lost. We're getting opposite stories on both sides. We don't know what to believe. Or the aliens are here, the aliens are not here. Scientific. We can communicate telepathically using quantum entanglement. No, we cannot communicate quantum mechanically using quantum entanglement. However, if the UFO evidence is real, then we do not live in a boring universe. The skeptics, the Mick Wests of the world, they want it to be a boring universe in which we're alone and that sort of thing. But we are not alone in the universe. We are being visited by more than one kind of advanced intelligence who are able to control gravity with small amounts of energy in the same way that we control the electromagnetic field with small amounts of energy. They have weightless geodesic warp drive, which is basically time travel from future to past, with no time dilation problems. Not all of these non-human intelligences are friendly, though some of them seem to be. However, the ones that this meeting is concerned with are the unfriendlies. And yes, they are real. In religious terms, Satan is real. What do they say? That Satan's greatest trick is to pretend he or she doesn't exist? Well, there you have it. Pablo asked me on May 1st, 2025, is the phenomenon, the hitchhiker phenomenon, is it violent? And I answered yes, in many cases, as you know. And then Pablo continued, subsequently, we will offer a basic definition of conventional quantum entanglement and its limitations, and explaining the connections between living systems. From there, we will develop the concept of post-quantum entanglement as a potential explanatory avenue for the connections observed in the hitchhiker witnesses, citing its theoretical foundations and implications, to which I replied, and this is the key paper, I said, cite section 7 of the review paper from December 22nd, 2022, I believe, that's available free online by the Finnish psychology professor, a cognitive scientist, Paavo Pilkin. And here is, if you freeze the slide, you'll see the link, and go there. And I'll summarize the solution to the consciousness problem. The technology behind the hitchhiker effect is basically Leonard Suskind's ER equals EPR, or the world is a hologram, in which two-dimensional Einstein, Podolsky, Rosen quantum entanglement signaling is in some sense equal to, actually dual to is the technical word, associated with, complementary to, a three-dimensional Einstein-Rosen traversable wormhole, which basically is a portal, Stargate. And another side of this same coin is the warp drive machines that, for example, have been in close encounters with the United States Navy on several battle groups, the Nimitz, the Roosevelt, and you're probably all familiar with that information. It's quite common out there on the internet. And at this point, I'll stop speaking. You could look at the slide. Here is what Elon Musk's Grok artificial intelligence has to say about the definition of the hitchhiker effect. Research suggests the UFO hitchhiker effect involves paranormal activities following individuals after UFO encounters, often linked to places like the Skinwalker Ranch. It seems likely that this effect spreads like a contagion, affecting not just the individual, but also those around them with varying intensity. The evidence leans toward it being a psychological or psychokinetic phenomenon, not supernatural, though controversy exists around its causes and scientific validity. Yes, okay, that's pretty much it. And what I'm claiming is that we understand exactly the post quantum mechanical entanglement physics um, that explains how all this is happening, uh, consistent with the laws of physics as we know them. The Central Intelligence Agency got me working on this problem over 50 years ago, as explained in MIT professor David Kaiser's book, How the Hippie Saved Physics, when I first met Harold Puthoff and Russell Targ, as well as astronaut Edgar Mitchell and other important people in that Central Intelligence Agency experiments on remote viewing with Uri Geller, Pat Price, Ingo Swann, and other subjects. Here is the email of May 1st, 2025 from Pablo Eduardo Alvarez, who asked me to give you my thoughts on this topic. Yes, this is what Pablo wrote to me, and it's pretty good. And all I can add to this is that post quantum mechanics is an extension of the kind of quantum mechanics that they teach in the universities today. Uh, Ordinary quantum mechanics, the orthodox quantum mechanics that's now taught, is a limited, incomplete theory, in my opinion, that only works for dead matter. It doesn't work for living matter. Uh, in fact, you can compare the orthodox quantum mechanics that is taught today with Einstein's special theory of relativity of 1905, which was not able to explain gravity. In the same way, the specialized, the smaller theory of quantum mechanics is not able to explain living matter consciousness. And we need the more general theory, which is called post-quantum mechanics. Post-quantum mechanics is to quantum mechanics as general relativity is to special relativity. Just as special relativity could not explain gravity, so quantum mechanics cannot explain consciousness, but post-quantum mechanics does explain consciousness as entanglement signaling. That is, we can use the entanglement or the connection between actually minds, the direct connection, quantum link between minds. We can use that to explain everything that's being seen in the paranormal events, and in particular in the Hitchhiker effect. This is Louis Elizondo's famous slide 9. And yes, everything in here is essentially correct. I agree with it. And my post quantum mechanics of EPR signaling explains everything in this slide. I'll just briefly read it to you. It's the Department of Defense threat scenario. The science exists for an enemy of the United States. This is the famous slide both 9 physical and cognitive environments that Louis Elizondo, I believe, first presented and also Hal Puthoff and compromise national security. It. And you can read the rest yes, of it, but I'm claiming we have to take this slide literally. In fact, claiming that many the world situation, we see what's happening today, the whole world's going crazy, and it may well be because of a actual war of the worlds scenario,
in which we are
which is
being
pushing us
attacked
toward
by
nuclear war.
evil extraterrestrials.
And
I'm not
I
saying
don't
this
know
is
if we're going to
true,
make
but
it
we must consider it as
because
one of the
this
explanations
form of
of
non-human
everything that's
intelligence
happening
wants
today
to
in the
destroy,
world, where we're now on the brink
humanity.
of a nuclear war
And
and
that's
total
why,
annihilation.
that's my opinion. So I'll let you look at the slide. I support the basic information in the slide, and I say that the physics that the Central Intelligence Agency asked me to work on 50 years ago, summarized in the phrase post-quantum mechanics, explains all this, and this is the reality we live in. Take it or leave it, like it or not. This is it. Here is a quote on high strangeness, a term coined by Jacques Vallée and Eric Davis in a report they wrote about the Skinwalker Ranch. And this is written by a fellow named Garrett. I gave the reference in the URL below the quote on the left-hand side of the slide. I suggest you all look that up in your on your own time. It's about Metallic Voices, Space Kids, project I was involved with. And it says, have you ever been spoken to by a mysterious metallic voice, a voice you can never ultimately understand the source of? If so, you are not alone, as we will explore. Quite a few individuals have had this sort of thing happen. The image is from a book by Peter Lavender. It's different from the Substack article that the quote is from, but it covers a lot of the same ground. So I recommend you check out that book if you're really interested in what the UFO hitchhiker effect is really all about.
This is a scene from the movie Mars Attacks, in which Jack Nicholson, looking very much like our current President Joe Biden, is being mind controlled by an evil alien who actually looks a little bit like, what's her name? Victoria Nuland? Oh yeah, that really does look like Victoria
Today
Nuland,
is the
doesn't
day
it?
that the new American Pope was elected. Sadly to say, he seems to be against Donald Trump and Vice President Vance. Uh, let's hope that the new Pope um, sticks to spirituality and the Christian religion. Remember what Jesus said: "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's." In this case, render unto Trump what is Trump, and render unto God, unto Jesus, what is Jesus. So I wish the Pope good luck, and I hope to meet him soon and to explain to him how the new physics has justified the Catholic doctrines in the sense of St. Thomas Aquinas and Teilhard de Chardin.